gravitational waves from South Pole. You read about it in the papers, right? But these papers usually don't tell you the assumptions, okay? Well, it's great if you found functional phase, that's great, okay? But they say that, well, because of this, they proved that there was inflation, there was Big Bang, and also proves Einstein's theory. Well, Einstein's theory can prove a lot of things, because Einstein's theory is basically a set of equations. You know, it depends on what input you put in, you get a different result, okay? In fact, Einstein's theory, equations, you can prove a white hole. You know, that Humphrey actually used the same Einstein equation, okay? And he proved that the universe come out with a white hole in, 6,000 years ago, that God created the universe with a white hole. That's the same Einstein equation, okay? But Einstein equation could do other things too, making different assumptions. You end up with a Big Bang, And Einstein equation also create a black hole, for example. You see, the equation itself don't tell you anything until you put assumptions in the beginning. But these people don't tell you that. And in fact, in the Big Bang, there are many holes in the Big Bang. It doesn't hold water, okay? I found there are many problems with the Big Bang, If you talk to me, I said there are many problems with the Big Bang, I don't take it, okay? The contradictions, basically. Wrong assumption, for example. The assumption could be proven to be wrong, okay? And also, Big Bang is if it happened at all, is a history. You do not prove history. History is not repeatable. We base some assumptions and then try to guess what might have happened, you see. That's why some years ago, Professor Lauren Geisler said that we have two kinds of science. One is called operational science, operational. That means the science occurs right now. We use it every day. We use cell phones every day. Okay, we cook our meal every day. This is operational science, okay? But there's another kind of science called origin science. Origin science is history. You prove history. History itself is not repeatable. Okay, the reliable history is actually based on eyewitnesses. Who's the eyewitness? Only Jesus Christ is eyewitness. Okay, only Christ is eyewitness. Only God is witness. So the Big Bang is a philosophy based on assumptions, and I don't take it. But I take the eyewitness account, which is the Bible, which is what Jesus said. In the beginning, God created male and female, and in 6 days, God created the heavens and the earth, and everything that lived in. And on the seventh day, He rested, and so on. Because the Bible is the record of eyewitnesses. So that's why, I wrote an article in Yahoo. But so now we realize that these journalists are writers, They major in English. They write good English, but they're not scientists. And they don't tell you the assumptions, in such a way they deceive the public. Yeah, so that's why we need to be aware of this and talk to our friends, and our children, our kids, and our neighbors, and so on. This is not right, This is brainwash. It's a lie, basically. Okay, let's make it clear. Okay, now we come to this. What's that? Oh, okay. 15. Einstein published his general theory of relativity. Essentially, he contracted 16 of different equations into one tensor. They call it tensor. In 1905, Einstein published his special theory. Special theory is pretty good, actually. It's very practical. You can use it even right now, So if object moves with the speed of light, there are three consequences. First, its mass increases. Second, its time contracts. And third, its length also contracts. And this has been used and proven, over and over again. In fact, if your car travels at 60 miles an hour, there is a difference in increase in mass. My calculation shows that it's about 10 to the 7.7, 10 to the minus 8, gram, something like that. It's so small, you cannot measure that. No instrument can measure that. Okay. But if the size of the object is like a sort of atom, you know, it's measurable. Okay. So, but in 1915, he published this general theory. It basically is partial differential equations. The equations, the variable, change with time. But usually it's very hard to solve. You know, I've done that at college. In one equation, hard to solve, but there are 15 of them simultaneous. They put it into one. You know, they call it tensor, and very few people can solve that. But this genius solved it. You know, there was the First World War. First World War is 1914, 1918, right? Is in the First World War. You know, at that time, Germany fought with Russia. You know, for Russian. And I think the Russian probably used chemical weapons, probably. Because he got boils all over the place, you know. Yeah, this is chemical weapons. So he died here. But he's a genius. In 4 months, he solved this equation. And then Einstein could not solve it, but he solved it. How he did that was he turned all the equations into spherical coordinate. And once he'd done that, he get a solution. So he sent the result to Einstein. Einstein said, okay, we'll announce it in the academy next month. You know. So that's why every black hole has his name on it, Schwarzschild. Schwarzschild radius, because he solved the equation. But if you solve his equation, you become famous, because not many people can solve it. Yeah. So, and the other guy called Lametta also solved it. Then he makes different assumptions. You know, that the universe has no center. The universe has no boundary. He came with a Big Bang. But Humphrey said, no, the universe has a center. The universe has boundary. And he solves the equation with a white hole. White hole is basically come right there, you know. So 6,000 years ago, God probably did that, you know. So he created the universe with a white hole. That was Einstein's equation. Come out there, okay. Now inflation, yes, but inflation is different. You know, the evolution is the Big Bang inflation is the first microsecond. Ooh, the universe it expands something like a trillion-fold, you know. But using a different way to calculate, inflation also occurs in the day 4 creation. That when the universe inflates, the clock on the Earth is very, very slow, but the clock outside is very fast. Okay. Well, no, the clock outside was normal clock, but the clock on Earth was slow. That was inflation. So in a short time in the day, the universe expands billion-fold, million-fold. Okay. And all the stars, of course, during the black hole, they're going to come out like that. So all this expansion thing was in the past, was history, okay? You're measuring history. You're measuring history, not now. But in fact, there is a calculation that shows that expansion is not possible. Why? Because gravitation. I can show you that mathematically. I'll show you this, okay? I've done that. It cannot expand. Because if you can expand the galaxies like that, then the whole galaxy would expand already. You don't have galaxies. The forces of the galaxies, or the colors of galaxies, is greater than the forces of all the stars within the Milky Way to the solar system. So if you can expand all these galaxies, cluster of galaxies, then you would also expand all the stars from the Milky Way. You don't have a galaxy, you don't have Milky Way. But that's mathematics, okay? It's hard mathematics, okay? But they ignore that. Okay? Even for the energy problem. The energy of the universe is absolutely constant. Okay, this is what this scientist in Oxford said. His name is Barbara. He said the energy is constant. If it's constant, how can you expand? If you expand, the energy is being lost. Expansion is losing energy. You know, this is physics. Yeah, this is physics. So that's why there's no expansion, because the energy of the universe is constant. Anyway, I'm going out of the subject now. Let me come back here. Okay. Yeah, I was born in China. I was in the Buddhist home. I was a kid. I was good in math and science all my years. Yeah. And that's why they elect me to be a captain. You know these red guards? what they call it pioneer. So, because I was a good student and all the other kids asked me for help to do their work and so on, they let me to be a captain. You know, first as a small, you know, I did 2-3 strikes like a sergeant. And then every morning I led the kids on the street, but they were in 1950s. Yeah. My father was in Hong Kong, but well, why he went to Hong Kong was because the communists come down from North China. Then my father went to Hong Kong. I was there alone in China back there. And I stayed with my grandmother and the great-grandmother. We had a big house. Why big? Because that house is usually 3 times bigger than ordinary houses. Why? Because the great-grandfather was the governor of the county. Yeah, governor of the county. And so he had a big house. And I was about 8 or 9 years old. My grandmother was about 60. The great-grandma was about 70 or 80 or whatever, you know. 2 old ladies with a young boy in the big house. But I was a captain, you know. Every weekend I asked my classmates to come over, like a casino, you know. And then at night, they come over to ask me for help their homework, okay? And that's why I became a captain. Every morning I let the kids out and shout, you know, down with Americanism, down with imperialism, all these sort of things. And then I told my father that I was a hero in here. But my father in Hong Kong said, no, son, don't take part in those activities. Study hard, prepare yourself for the future. But my father is like, you know, 700 miles away and didn't bother anyway. Later on, my mom went back to China to take me out. I told my mom, I don't want to go to Hong Kong because Hong Kong is capitalistic, imperialistic, lots of injustice and crime and so on. My mom said, no, you have brothers, she's in Hong Kong, they like to play with you. And I said, okay, that's fine. So I went to Hong Kong. But after I went there, I saw a picture different. Because back there, they brainwashed the kids, you know, saying that the outside world was very bad, you know, lots of injustice and crime, you know. Rich people suppress the poor people suffer terribly and so on and so forth, and crime on the street. But when I went to Hong Kong, I saw a picture different. I did not see all these terrible things that the teachers talk about that. So I did not tell my mom, hey, I'm going to China. I didn't say that. So instead, I played with my brothers and sisters, and there was May. Now, usually June, the school would close, right, for summer or holiday. And in May, you can go to school. But I know nothing of the English language, or even the ABCDEFG, you know, not overwhelmed. So my father sent me to a private tutor to learn the English language. So in a month, I learned the alphabets, I learned a few English words. Then of course, summer vacation started. And then September, when school starts, the book was all this thick English. I only knew a few words. So I went to school at night to study English only. But after 6 months, I caught up with the class. But I was good in all other subjects, except English. But English is okay now. So I got good marks in the school. So later on, I told my father that I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers, five brothers and sisters. So. But in those days, the schools were expensive. You know, you pay school fees. You know, very few public schools. But even public schools have to pay. Public school pay this much fee. Private school pay that much fee. Okay, yeah. So I said, I don't need the teachers. I can study myself. I can read the books and do myself. My father didn't object to that. I found one problem. I could not teach myself English. How can you read this? You know, I can't do that. But I didn't want to ask my father, hey, I want to go to school for English. I didn't say that. I have a relative, the uncle, you know, he has a shop, you know, chemicals, selling chemicals. The place is about maybe 3 times bigger than this room, okay?